The story begins with Lucy, a girl who suffers from partial blindness and sees people's faces blurry. This is a rare condition, and because of it, she is bullied all her life and taken advantage of by boys. After many sad years, she returns to school, where Enzo, an exchange student from another country who claims to be the smartest and strongest in the country, is also a student. Then Lucy wins first prize for photography, but a jealous girl accuses her of plagiarism, and the students attack her on stage. She feels scared because she remembers being bullied for being blind, so she quickly runs away and bumps into Enzo, who is mesmerized by her sweetness and helps her escape, taking her hand and protecting her from the others. Afterward, he lets go and Lucy, shy, thanks him. When her friend arrives, she discovers her name and keeps it close to her heart. Enzo meets Jimin, and his friend tells him he's the most popular guy in school. She says she loves photography, and he gives her his camera, revealing his interest in her. Lucy then gets bullied by some mean kids and, fed up, stands up to them and throws her food at them. Then Enzo shows up and she throws rice at him with the force of an elephant, and he feels dizzy from the blow, and they tell him it's a blood sugar crash. But he thinks it's his love for Lucy that's making him dizzy, and so he chases her and gets frustrated because she doesn't pay attention to him and prefers to pet her cat. He wants her to pet his lip and organizes a fair made expressly to meet her and read girls' minds in public. She gets curious and he goes to read her mind, but they are interrupted by a boy in love with Lucy, and he confesses his feelings to her. She can't see his face well and doesn't know who he is, and he doesn't understand since they've known each other for years, and says that his love for her is sincere. Enzo tells her to leave, and just as it starts to rain and he protects her from the rain, Lucy asks who he is, and he begins to suspect that she is blind. After that, she gets trapped in a fire inside her classroom and immediately calls her friend, who can't help her, and the last one left is Enzo, who runs for her as if he had firecrackers in his butt, and when she is about to die, he arrives and gets her out of there. She vomits on him, and Enzo feels disgusted, and while she goes to wash her clothes, she asks Jimin to take her to the hospital. There she remembers that when she was little she was locked inside a car, and a boy rescued her and was her hero, but due to his blindness he doesn't know what his face looks like, and her friend is relieved to see her and mistakenly tells her that the one who saved him was Jimin instead of Enzo. She thinks that he is the boy who always protected her, and Enzo looks out the window proud of what he did and expects a big favor from her. He happily goes to meet her, but Lucy ignores poor Enzo, who can't believe it and doesn't understand why she's so cold. Enzo uses his seduction techniques and acts like a man in front of her. Lucy continues to ignore her, and her little brother discovers that for the first time a girl hasn't paid attention to him, and this makes headlines all over the school. She then fulfills her dream of joining the photography club and tries to figure out if Jimin is the boy who protected her. Enzo then asks her why she doesn't thank him for saving her, and she says her true hero is Jimin. He feels a surge of rage and immediately connects the dots and discovers that Jimin is posing as her savior. He's going to get revenge, and since he's been hiding, he decides to join the photography club to infiltrate the enemy camp and reveal that Jimin is a liar. He prepares and studies hard, thinking he'll get Lucy's lips in front of everyone. He gives a presentation explaining that beautiful things deserve to be photographed, and he just happens to notice Lucy, who's shy. Everyone is impressed and manages to join the group. Then they go on a field trip, and he's jealous because Jimin is sitting with his girlfriend, and next to him is a girl who won't leave him alone and wants to kiss him. Enzo gets up, and the bus has an accident, and he takes advantage of the confusion to sit next to Lucy, and Jimin doesn't even know where he is. She notices his presence and smiles, warming Enzo's heart so much that instead of taking photos for a documentary, he only takes photos of her. He shows them to her, and she doesn't recognize her own face. He asks if she has an eye condition. She plays dumb and then does a partner activity if they happen to be together, so he takes advantage of the opportunity to get close to her. Lucy photographs a broken flower and says she feels just as broken and alone as that flower. She trips and he protects her as they look at each other with a fire of love, and before leaving he takes the flower and plants it somewhere else, giving it life, and tells Lucy that she can also feel life in the lips of another boy, and she gives him a gift that he feels like a kiss. While her friend is happy because Jimin is with her, and her little brother also approaches another girl that he likes. They all go on dates instead of working, and when they meet, Jimin asks for the pictures and discovers that Enzo only took pictures of Lucy. He gets furious, and Enzo says she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. So the two continue fighting because they're both interested in the same girl who takes their breath away, and they have a battle over who knows the most about her. They talk about her birthday, her favorite color, and the extent of her moles. But they're so focused that they don't notice she went to an abandoned house to take pictures. But the power goes out, and worried, they head there. He discovers that the house is full of sharp nails and avoids them as best he can and takes her hand, helping her out, but his foot gets stuck between two boards, and when he tries to get out he falls against a giant nail, and she helps him and saves him from dying. He looks at her with love, and when he leaves he makes the same gesture as the boy who saved her years ago and suspects that he is the one her heart yearns for every day, and he prays that Lucy falls in love with him. While Jimin gets in the way of their relationship, and Enzo plays a joke making Lucy laugh, and this makes Tanya, an envious girl, jealous of them. She discovers Lucy is partially blind and promises to make her suffer. He then texts his girlfriend to go on a date, and she accepts. However, his little brother also invites another girl, and they both go to the wrong place. Lucy goes out with her little brother, and Enzo with the other girl, who is shy, and she takes the opportunity to ask about Enzo and if he's ever had a girlfriend. He says he liked a girl when he was little, and everything points to her, although he has doubts. Enzo then leaves his date to see her, only to discover she's gone, and apologizes 1,000 times for the confusion. Later, it's revealed on social media that she's blind, and rumors spread throughout the school, with students crowding around her and calling her a liar. Enzo finds out about this, and they go to help her, while a boy bullies her and laughs at her problem. He says she doesn't deserve to be here because she's weird and blames him for her misfortunes. Enzo stands by him and calls him a coward. The bully gets angry, and he says there's nothing wrong with being blind and that we should learn from her. He says that bullies are those with blind hearts and scolds her for her bad behavior, and Tanya, jealous, leaves because every word of love toward her hurts him. Then he walks away holding hands with her, and when she walks away from the bullies, she begins to cry about her illness, and he comforts her and tells her that now he understands why she didn't listen to him. She asks him what his face looks like and if he's pretty, and he says of course he is, since she can't see him. He says he's allowed to touch him. He says that she looks very cute when she's angry, and then they investigate who spread the rumors, and when they look at the surveillance cameras they discover that it was Tanya's friend who shows prejudice towards the blind person, and Enzo says that because she is blind she tries 100 times harder than the others, and shows them a notebook in which she wrote down all the characteristics of her classmates to remember them and show them the kindness they deserve. She worries more than everyone and tells them that she has a disease called prosopagnosia, and crying she says that she has suffered every second of her life and hopes that they show her affection. Then they distribute stickers in support of her, and he puts it on his heart where Lucy's love is. However, as she walks down the street alone, she notices someone following her and she runs away. Enzo appears to protect her, and out of fear, she says his name, which means that for the first time she recognizes him, and this makes him very happy. However, as he passes by her in the library, she doesn't recognize him, and it hurts his soul. She apologizes, and he decides to find a way for her to always recognize him, and says that he will comb his hair the same way, wear the same white t-shirt, and plans to wear the same perfume that attracts her heart. She says that they have to study first, and since she doesn't get good grades, Enzo decides to help her, although it is difficult because when he sees her eyes he is hypnotized because he imagines his whole life with her. This causes her to get worse grades, and her parents tell her that if she continues like this, she won't go to school anymore, so she tries like crazy and gets the best grade on another test. Enzo celebrates and stares at them in surprise. We see that she keeps a note Enzo gave her on her bed and dreams about him every night. Later, they go to a fair, and she doesn't recognize him because there are more boys wearing white shirts. He changes his plan, and everyone has a good time except for Enzo, who has vertigo on the rides and is about to throw up. He goes to the bathroom, and Lucy waits for him at the exit, but she gets lost and feels terrified until he finds her and takes care of her like his queen. The two stroll along, listening to a love song that connects their hearts. Then, during the fireworks, Jimin discovers the spark between them and feels disappointed. While Enzo prepares to take the next step in their relationship and tells her that her nose is cute and tries to touch her hand but fails and tries to look at her with passion, and she heats up like a microwave, and this makes Jimin envious, who plans to separate him, but the forces of love are more powerful and Enzo stays with her and tries to touch her hand because she is his goal. However, she escapes for nothing, and she tells him that when she was 4 years old a man kidnapped her, and when she freed herself she didn't know what to say to the police because she didn't recognize the kidnapper's face, and her mother left her job to take care of her. Lucy always felt like a burden, and he says that she didn't ask to be born blind, and it's not her fault, and she deserves all the love in the universe for that. The next day she recognizes him, but she also recognizes the other students because her partial blindness disappears for a day. He no longer feels special and wants to learn to play the guitar to get Lucy's attention. He breaks the strings because he's so bad at it, but he doesn't give up. He buys a guitar and learns Lucy's favorite song, which calms him down when he's anxious. However, he injures his hand, so he enters a contest where he sings really funny songs. Everyone at school sees him, and he becomes famous. The girls call him cute, and he says it's part of his plan to confess his feelings to Lucy, but she's depressed because she thinks it's for another girl and asks her brother to deliver this love letter. However, he gets distracted by the girl he likes and forgets about the letter, and Tom sees what's inside and discovers it's an invitation to an event where he's going to declare his love, thinking it's for her. So she goes excitedly and sits in the seat reserved for Lucy, and when he sees it, he's surprised and asks his brother to kick Tom out. He confesses that the seat is for another girl, and she leaves humiliated. Then he finds Lucy and takes advantage of the fact that they're alone and locks her in a room with a padlock. She screams for help, but no one hears her, and the event begins. Also, there is no coverage, and she begins to have an anxiety that overwhelms her, and he discovers that she is not in her seat and feels disappointed, although anyway he plays his guitar and begins to sing with the intention that wherever she is she will hear him, and just Jimmy rescues her, and she runs towards him, and in front of everyone she screams his name with love. He is relieved to see her, and the two sing together while she goes up on stage, and joining their voices that are heavenly, they create a sound of pure love that only two lovers are capable of creating. Then they throw some flowers to her from the audience, and he offers them to her along with his heart, and she accepts them in love, and she cannot concentrate on her tasks because only he occupies her mind. So Enzo invites her out on a date, and she says yes, and he even buys her flowers. But it's her little brother who shows up because they both get dumped because they have an assignment for the photography club. They're both sad, and since they don't want to miss dinner, they feast, but neither of them wants to pay. They pretend to be a couple and have a fight. They manage to escape and go to a costume party, where Lucy is. He's ready to confess his love to her, but he discovers that she's gone on the date looking for him. The waitress tells her that her boyfriend is gay, and she's confused about how he could possibly love her so much if he likes boys. She's depressed on a balcony, and he arrives wearing a traditional Romeo and Juliet costume and confesses that he came looking for her and that every time he doesn't see her, he misses her. She realizes that he does like girls and, above all, that he desires her lips, so they go on a date and hold hands, smiling nonstop. So they organize a trip to the beach with their friends and stay at a hotel, where they decide to separate the rooms for boys and girls. The boys try to kiss the girls and become extremely friendly, acting like gentlemen, while the girls are their beautiful princesses. But of course, the girls know their tricks and promise not to leave their side because they have a strong will and don't trust them. Jimmy signals to Enzo to stay alone, and he takes his beloved away, but they notice, and his plan fails. She then shows up at Enzo's room with a gift, and the one who opens it is Jimmy, shirtless. She was wrong, but Tom sees it and thinks the opposite. He takes some pictures of them in a position where they appear to be kissing and shows it to the others, creating a bad feeling about Lucy in the group. While Enzo sets up a beautiful scene on the beach to confess his love, they claim the photos are fake, and Tom explains they're real and humiliates her. Lucy, fed up, runs away, but her friend isn't stupid and discovers this girl only wants to hurt them. Then Jimmy sees his beloved crying, and she asks him not to give her false hope, and he explains that she's the one he loves. While Lucy runs sadly and falls into the sand, and Enzo takes care of her, and they realize that the villain of this is Tanya. They confront her and set her up in a way that seems like she's kissing another boy, and her boyfriend discovers that she's not trustworthy and breaks off their relationship. Then he takes her to the romantic place he prepared, but it is broken due to bad weather, and she doesn't care because the materials are nothing compared to the love he has for her, and gives her a really funny figurine of himself as a gift. However, when she fell, it broke, and of course, he doesn't care, since the intention is what counts. She loves it when he pays attention to details. Just then, fireworks explode, and he looks at her like she's his blessed angel and declares his love. Meanwhile, the other couples are having a romantic night, and his little brother receives his first kiss from the girl he likes. Then she sees photos of Enzo as a child and finds it amusing when she sees one that catches her attention and discovers he resembles the boy who helped protect her from bullying. She meets with him and tells him that their present and future belong with her, but she knows he's been searching for that boy for a long time and will help him find him. While they're acting like lovers in the photography room, he surprises her and shows her a bunch of photos of the back of the boy she's been looking for. She feels happy because she knows that Enzo is the boy of her dreams because he has been beating in her heart all her life, and so they throw him a surprise birthday party and she brings him his cake along with her eternal love, and Enzo says that he couldn't ask for better friends than them. Her brother shoves his face in the cake, and they all end up with cake everywhere and wanting to eat each other's mouths. Then they go on a date and go to the abandoned car where she was being harassed, and she makes him see the pain she felt, and that thanks to him, she grew up knowing that she deserves to fight for happiness in this life. He leans close to her lips and is about to give her their first kiss, but some children interrupt them. Then he has to go away for a few days to visit his family for New Year's, and the distance hurts his heart, even though they talk on video calls and take photos to clear their heads. She's sad, and he pays her a surprise visit, but as he crosses the road, a car hits him. He is blown to the air and taken to the hospital, where they perform open-heart surgery to save his life, while she waits at the airport, unaware. The guard tells her it's too late, and she's worried something terrible has happened to him. Her brother then goes to the hospital, and we see he's in very serious condition, his face bandaged. Her parents are sad and decide to take their daughter to a foreigner to be treated by an expert because her face is disfigured. Her brother then tells her that Enzo went abroad to study, and she thinks it's impossible because he would have told her. But her brother convinces her, and she begins to believe their relationship was worse than she thought and becomes depressed. She sends him a message, but of course, he doesn't answer until her brother pretends to be him and gives Lucy a few days of happiness. However, his girlfriend discovers his deception when she sees he has 2 cell phones, one of them belonging to Enzo. She then calls Lucy, and he's forced to tell his girlfriend the truth about her being in a coma. He doesn't realize that Lucy heard everything and rushes to the hospital. Unfortunately, he's already in another country. Then Enzo has surgery, and he finally opens his eyes in front of his parents. They're happy, and he says the name of his beloved. His parents explain their situation to him, and he says he only has one wish, and that's to talk to Lucy, who cries when she hears his voice. He apologizes for worrying her and explains about his face. She says she doesn't care how he is because what she loves about him is his personality and his soul. This makes Enzo cry, and he asks her to wait for him for half a year, so he'll be by her side. Then, 6 months pass, and she organizes a photo shoot to surprise Enzo. Suddenly, a boy confesses he likes her, and she explains that she has a boyfriend. The boy thought her boyfriend was dead, and she gets angry because Enzo is very much alive and busy with his rehabilitation. But when he finds out there are boys who want to kiss her, he asks the doctor to go faster because he wants to see her now. Then the doctor tells him he needs facial reconstruction surgery, and he agrees to look good for his beloved. Meanwhile, the students learn about the exhibition and help her give Enzo the best possible surprise. He emerges from the operation and is told it went well, but he's left with large scars on his face that make him sad. The day of the exhibition arrives, and everyone enjoys it, except for her because her beloved doesn't show up, and her heart breaks more every second. When he arrives, they tell him she's gone to sea. He searches for her in the crowd, and when they find each other, they burst into tears of joy because love is dancing in their souls again, and this life has meaning. He then discovers that the exhibition contains photos of him as a child and of his love story with Lucy, and he remembers those moments that fill his heart with happiness and take away the pain in his life. She then sings him his favorite song, and they sit in the same position as the painting, and she wipes his tears because there's no time for sadness when they're together. Then his friends are excited to see him again, and his brother tells him he has a girlfriend. He's happy, and Jimin takes advantage of this to declare his love to the girl he likes, who of course accepts. The 6 end up paired off, and his schoolmates celebrate his return. Then she advances in her photography class and gets the best grade, and he's proud that she's fulfilling her dreams. Afterward, they go to their old hometown where they met, and memories flood their hearts, and they promise to always be together. Then, as it's getting late, they stay in a hotel in separate rooms, and he needs to kiss her. Suddenly the lights go out, and because of this, they enter a single room where he lights candles, and the two look at each other shyly. He shows her the narrowness of his forehead, and she caresses it with such delicacy that her skin and soul melt, and finally, she goes to his lips and gives him a kiss that stops time, and only the two of them and the happiness of their love exist. After that, they begin their life together, buying a car to start a family, and they go to a Ferris wheel where he tries to overcome his fear of heights, and she takes his hand, giving him the strength he needs because she is his rock, and he is happy to have her by his side. A few years later, Lucy fulfills her dream and becomes a famous photographer. Enzo is always there to support her, and the two run together toward a future filled with happiness, because that's what happens when you find your soulmate. Your hearts are eternally intertwined and destined to blossom together in the garden of love. And hey, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one. I'm also leaving more videos here that I'm sure you'll love. Thank you very much for your time, and see you later.